right, we're going to get started just like we usually do. So let's sit up nice and tall. Think of that length through our spine, stacking our vertebrae one on top of the other. We're going to do our chin tucks back for 10 to begin. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Good. Let's reset. Think of that length. We're going to do our head turns now. Here we go. 10, back to center. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Okay, warm-up portion. It's going to be 6 minutes long, and we're going to incorporate moving through all of our joints in a range of motion, and we're also going to get a little cardio out of this. After we do our warm-up, we're going to do 3 rounds of a 45, 15, 12 exercises all in a row. It's 2 weeks ago we did a format like this. We're going to hit it all, rest, hit it all, rest, and then one more time, and we are done, okay? So for now, we're going to start with our warm-up here. Our first move, we're going to do our step back, and we're going to do like a 45 press, okay? So we're kind of coming up somewhere in this diagonal pattern, almost like we're matching what our legs doing on that line there of the body. So we're going to press and tap that heel back, okay? So we're going to do that first, 30 seconds each move. Then we're going to go into an alternating knee raise, elbow to knee. So our next move, we're going to go elbow, 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 okay? Elbow to knee. That's our second move. And then we're going to go into a modified jumping jack, okay, with a flexed foot. And then our last move is going to be our ham curls and pullbacks, okay? So we're going to roll through those 4 exercises, 30 seconds each. Let's get ready with that step back to 45-degree angle press here, okay? If you're seated, you're going to tap back and press, okay? All right, let's get ready. Here we go in 3, 2, and 1. Here we go. So press, press. So it's not straight overhead. It's not straight in front of you. It's somewhere in between there. I'm trying to, if you're standing, we're trying to pop that heel onto the floor to get a nice little dynamic calf stretch as we do this. We have 10 more seconds here. And we're going to go right into our elbow to knee raise here. This is going to look the same seated. Getting deep into those obliques. Warming up our thoracic spine here. This rotation. Modified jumping jacks are next. You're going to take it to a lateral tap if you're seated. 2, 1. So if you're standing, here we are. Think about flexing your foot and leading with the heel of your foot. If you're advanced, you can do regular jacks. Okay, and if you're seated, we're here. Okay. 10 more seconds here. And we're going to go to our ham curls. 2, and 1. Here we go. Last exercise in our 4. So if you're seated, your toes tapping back, but we're still getting this pull back with these arms. If you're standing, think of that heel coming up towards your glute. Going back to the top with our step back right here. So here we go. Back to that first exercise. 45-degree press, trying to get that heel down to the floor. Warming up our ankles, shoulders. 10 more seconds here. We're going to go back to that elbow to knee. 3, 2, and 1. Here we go. Go at your pace. Okay, it's okay to slow it down or pick it up. Remember, the quality of your movement is the most important thing. So if speeding it up means you're losing good form, then just consider slowing it down a little bit so you can work on the quality of your movement. Going back to jumping jacks in 3, 2, and 1. Here we go. Really trying to keep that flexed foot so we can get into these side glute areas here, okay? Activating our glutes, getting a nice little dynamic stretch through our groin and hip flexors here. Going back to ham curls in 5, 3, 2, and 1. Here we go. Bottom of round 2. We're going to hit one more round after these. Remember, if you're standing, think of the heel coming back. Try to feel that activation through your back of your thigh, the back side. 5 more seconds here. Then we're going to go back to that step back and press. Here we go. Press and step back. Final set of everything here. Then we'll get into our dumbbell work, strength work. 3, 2, and 1. Elbow to knee. Jumping jacks are coming up in 5 seconds. 2, and 1. Here we go. Just one more exercise after this one. We're gonna go back to those ham curls. Then we'll take a little break and get into our routine for the day. 2, 1. Last 30 seconds here. Ham curl it. Ten more seconds. 3, 2, and 1. Nice work, guys. That is our warm up there. Body temperature should feel a little elevated. Might feel a little breathy. So our circuit, we have 10 exercises. No, 9 exercises. 2 of them are going to be unilateral, where we work one side and the other, okay? So our first pair is going to be one we've done for a long time here, rolling shoulders back and down, our hinge and row, okay? So our feet are underneath our shoulders, okay? Hinging back, pushing those hips back. Here's a new cue. Speaking with a fellow coach last night, I love this cue. So a good way to think of is you chop your hips, right? That is a hinge, chop, okay? And it pushes you back. Yes, that's it, right? So that is the movement there. Okay, so we're going to chop those hips back, low row it into the pockets, and then squeeze the glutes to lift. Okay, that's our first exercise. Our second exercise is our alternating lunges. So if you're using a chair for that, remember you can hold on to the back of the chair, the side of the chair. You may not need the chair, or your seated variation is that alternating leg press. Okay, so you're kind of scooped back here, holding onto the sides of your chair and pressing something heavy away with the heel of your foot. Your seated option for our first one is going to look the same here. We're going to hinge, row into the pockets, come back up. Okay, there are first two. I'll coach us through the rest for round one, and then we'll know it for the next two rounds. Okay, so 45 seconds is going on the clock, and we are starting with our hinge and row. Okay, feet underneath hips, toes are forward, roll the shoulders back and down. We're going to push those hips back into our hinge and then row it up. Here we go in 3, 2, and 1. Okay, so chop the hips back, low row into the pockets, and then use the hamstrings and glutes to lift yourself back up. What you should notice is, because you're trying to put attention on using your glutes and hamstrings to stand, is that your core automatically has to kind of pull back here, okay, in order to really get the proper mechanics of the movement, all right, to really feel that deep engagement. 10 more seconds here. 3, 2, and 1. Okay, we're going into lunges next. Remember, you can do a seated alternating leg press. Hold on to the front of the chair, the back, or no chair. Here we go in 3, 2, and 1. Remember, if you're doing them like I am, that the space between your left and right foot is important, right? Think of railroad tracks and how one foot would be on one track and the other foot would lunge back onto the opposite track, right? We want that space between our left and right. If we're too narrow, the movement becomes more difficult because we have to focus more on the balance aspect than the strengthening aspect. And while that may seem like there's nothing wrong with that, hey, we want to work on our balance, that's true. But remember, sometimes working on your balance means working on that muscle strength, especially in our glutes. Time. Okay, so next we're going to go into a tricep kickback. So think of our single arm row here. Okay, we're going to keep the elbow bent and we're going to kick back. Kick back, okay? We're only working this muscle right here, okay? So if you're seated, you can do this. It might be easier if you're seated to hold on to this arm and do overhead if you find the chair gets in the way, or you can come to the side here a little bit and do it from the side, okay? All right, so otherwise, if you're standing, we can do it right from this position here, all right? Here we go, 3, 2, and 1, all one side here. Elbow stays tucked towards the rib cage here, and we're only moving through the elbow joint, okay? That is the only flexion and extension here. The shoulder is still, the elbow stays tight to the rib cage. And remember, we're working on the back of the upper arm, okay? That's where you should feel the tension here. The next effort is going to be the other side here. We've got 10 more seconds on this side. 3, 2, and 1, okay? So now we're going to set up for the other side. All right, so split stance if you're standing here. Remember, if you're seated and you want to take it to an overhead, if that's comfortable for you, you can. Here we go, 3, 2, and 1. Keep that elbow tight to the body, only moving through the elbow joint. We're looking to feel the back of the arm, that upper arm, our tricep. Keep your belly button pulled back towards your spine. And your hips should stay facing towards forward. Okay, we don't want the hip coming up towards the ceiling on that side that we're kicking back the dumbbell. 10 more seconds, then we move on. 2, and 1, okay, nice work. Next, we are moving on to our balance goal post fly. So very light weights or no weight. You have the option to either stay on one leg for half the time. If that's too challenging, we can march it, okay? Otherwise, stay with me here and I'll tell you when to switch, okay? Think of those shoulder blades, okay? When we do this movement, we're gonna think of the source. Think those shoulder blades are pulling us back. We're gonna switch our lead foot in 3, 2, and 1. Other side. Now we're, see, we did those lunges where we worked on strengthening our glutes. Now we're incorporating some balance. 3, 2, and 1. Okay, next exercise. We're gonna take one dumbbell. We're gonna go wide with our feet here. We're doing a lateral shift to press. Our feet, once we get them in that position, they stay there. Press, okay? So shift, think hips back, right? I'm chopping the hip on one side, right? So it's not knee going forward, it's hip going back. And if you're seated here, keep it going, guys. If you're seated, we're going to do lateral tap press. Lateral tap press. Okay, so opposite hand and foot. We're driving up on that leg where the knee, where the hip goes back. We're driving through that heel. You should feel like you should be able to wiggle your toes through it. And time on that side. I'm going to switch the dumbbell. We're going to do the opposite now. Let's get ready in 3, 2, and 1. Hip goes back, drive up through the heel, press. Keep that belly button pulled back towards the spine. And check in with yourself. As you're coming up, you should feel like your toes are very, that the weight is in the heel of your foot, that your toes really, you feel them on the floor, but they're not like pressing you up, right? It should be from the heel of the foot. Five more seconds. 3, 2, and 1. Okay. Next, we have 2 pulse sumo squats. So we're going to come wide, heels right outside the width of our shoulder. All right, we're going to lower down, pulse, pulse, drive up. Pulse, pulse, drive up. Okay, pulse, pulse, up. Okay, keep it going. If you're seated, lateral tap, leg extension. Lateral tap, leg extension. Okay. That little extra time under tension in that pulse should help really get into the glute muscles here, inner thighs. Still pressing through the heels. My toes, I can kind of lift up in this movement. I can kind of curl them up because I'm driving so much through my heels on the way up here. 3, 2, and 1. Okay. Moving on to we're going to do a bent elbow lateral raise to no money drill. Okay, so it looks the same, seated or standing. Bent elbow here, 90 degree. We're going to lateral raise up, and then we're going to swing them back. Yes. Lateral raise, and then pull the shoulder blades together. Keep the glutes engaged, keep the core tight. Ten more seconds here. 5. Woo, feeling this one. 3, 2, and 1. Wow. Okay, so now we're going to do a single arm squat to overhead, single arm press to knee raise. Okay, so complex movement pattern here. One dumbbell, okay? We're working a lot of offset loads here today. So we're going to squat, drive it up, single arm press, knee, all on the same side, okay? The next one will get the other side, all right? If you're seated, we're gonna do leg extension, press, knee, okay? Leg extension, press, knee, okay? Let's get ready. 3, 2, and 1. Here we go. We're gonna squat, drive it up, single arm press, knee. Drive it up. If you find your shoulders are getting a little too tired for it and you need to take a few of the presses out, do that. You can do this, squat, knee, okay? If you need to take a little rest from those, see if you can keep the lower body going, just like that. And if you're feeling rested, add it back in. 3, 2, and 1. Ooh. All right, rest. We're doing that same thing on the other side now, okay? If you need to start early, stop early or start late for some extra recovery, you guys know. Let's get ready and begin. All right, remember the quality is much more important than trying to get a bunch of reps out. Oh wait, so we're twisting with the dumbbell, okay? And time, okay. Nice work. We have one more here. We're gonna do body weight here, half sumo hold. We're going back into that sumo hold and we're gonna front jab it here. Okay, we're gonna hold and jab. All right, if you're seated, you can do the sumo stance in your seated position and you're just gonna jab. We're looking to get the heart rate up here. It's our last exercise before we break. So go ahead and move those arms, right? Holding that lower body still. You don't have to be low in this sumo squat, okay? We're just trying to keep those knees in the directions of those toes. Whew. Remember, we rest after this. 10 seconds. 5, 3, 2, and 1. Nice work, guys. Rest. Oh my. 2 more rounds of that, okay? Let's recover. Get a drink. Round 2. So we're going back to our hinge and row. This is one of our staples here, right? Hinge, low row, return, okay? Let's get ready here. In 3, 2, and 1. We are on here, rolling shoulders back and down, pushing hips back, rowing into the pocket, using the hamstrings and glutes to return. Keeping that belly button pulled back. Past halfway. Lunges are next. Remember, you can always do a seated alternating leg press. They are excellent as well. 5 more seconds here. 2, and 1. Okay, back to reverse lunges with all of our chair options or our seated alternating leg press or standing. Ready? And begin. Remember that space between your left and right foot. If my right leg is forward and my left leg goes back, I want to make sure that my left foot is not directly behind my right foot, right? I want that space in between for balance. Remember, we're primarily working that front leg when we lunge and drive up, okay? Ten more seconds. We're going to the tricep kickbacks next. 3, 2, and 1. Good. So remember, we've got our standing tricep kickback here. All right, working this muscle right here. All right, or maybe seated overhead feels better. Okay, so it just depends on you. Okay, here we go. Keeping my belly button pulled back, focused on that tiny muscle group in the back of the arm, our tricep. Ten more seconds. 3, 2, and 1. Okay. Even out. Get the other side here. All right. 5 seconds. Let's start getting ready here. Hips are forward. Belly button's pulled to spine. Elbow stays close to the rib cage. And we are just moving through that elbow joint. Just hit halfway on this side. Ten more seconds. 5, 3, 2, and 1. Okay. Next, we are moving on to our balanced goalpost flies. Remember, you have the option to stay on one leg for half the time and then the other, or you can march it, okay? Ready? And begin. Remember, we're really thinking of those shoulder blades squeezing together, right? Think of the shoulder blades moving back versus your elbows moving back, right? Where the source of the movement starts. Oh, wait, I'm marching. We're supposed to be doing our, I forgot, sorry guys. Busy talking too much. And let's switch. Five more seconds. 2, and 1. Whoa. Okay, now we're going back to that shift. We're going nice and wide, toes are forward, shifting, driving up, press, okay? All on the same side, then we'll do it on the other side, the next set. Okay, nice and wide with those feet. Here we go. So we're gonna get lateral shift, drive it up, press, opposite side. So we're gonna pick it up and then put it away, right? Unilateral work today though. Remember, check in with yourself. Are you pushing your hip back and keeping the weight in the heel when we're at the bottom end of this movement? Or are you driving your knee forward and your heel is popping off the floor, okay? Take note to which one you're doing and try to correct it to make sure that you are in the hip back, heel maintains contact direction. Time. Other side. Whew, you're sneaky. Deep breaths in through the nose, out through the mouth. Let's get ready to do the other side in 3, 2, and 1. Here we go. Shifting back, driving forward, up. 10 more seconds on this side. 3, 2, and 1. Okay. Next, we're going to bring our stance in just a little bit so our heels are right outside the width of our shoulder. Our toes are going to come out. We're going to do those sumo 2 pulse squats, okay? So we're going to pulse twice at our bottom range. Here we go. We're going to pulse, pulse, drive through the heels. With this exercise, this is a good one where you can really kind of lighten the load in your toes. Practice on that distribution of being in the back of the foot here. Pulse, pulse, drive up. 10 seconds here. Maybe feel some glutes and inner thighs working right now. 5, 3, 2, and 1. Okay, we're going to go into that bent elbow lateral raise to no money drill. Okay, so those elbows stay bent at 90 degrees the whole time, and the knuckles stay in the same position as well. This looks the same seated. You can begin here. All right, so we've got lateral raise. Checking in with your core. Are you squeezing your glutes? Pulling the belly button back. You can even do this one body weight if it starts to feel too intense. Ten more seconds. 3, 2, and time. Okay, we're going into our single arm squat to overhead press to opposite knee raise, okay? Here we go. 3, 2, and 1. We're gonna squat it down, drive it up, press, knee. Okay, remember, if you feel really fatigued through your shoulders and you could make it every 3 that you press up, right? Okay, every 3rd one you press up, and then for the other 2, you just keep it right here. All right, do what feels right. Whew. 5 seconds. And time. Okay, recover. We still have to get the other side. Okay, we're going to start in 5. Here we go. 3, 2, and 1. I'm going to sink it back into our squat, drive it up, press, twist. Twist. Good. That's it. We got 10 seconds left. 3, 2, and time. Okay, final exercise, and we'll take a little rest. We just got one more round to get through. Remember, we're doing that half sumo squat hold. Half here, toes out, knees out. Boom, boom, boom. Okay, think cardiovascular response here, okay? Here we go. This is a toughie. It's one of those exercises where simple doesn't mean easy. 10 seconds. 3, 2, 1. Relax. Okay, nice work, guys. That's round 2. Let's get a drink and recover here. We're going to go through it one final time, and then we'll cool down. So, deep breath. Remember, coming back to the top, hinge and row, okay? Shake it out. Give it another couple seconds here. All right, guys. Let's get ready here. We're going to start with that hinge and row in 3, 2, and 1. Here we go. Feet are underneath those hips. Toes are forward. Belly button to spine. Make sure we're using those lats and glutes in this. Almost there, just 5 seconds. 3, 2, and 1. Lunges or your seated alternating leg presses next. All right, here we go in 3, 2, and 1. Step it back, drive through the heel forward. Almost there, 10 seconds. 5, 3, 2, and 1. Okay, single arm tricep kickbacks are next, okay? Any of our variations for that. We'll take one dumbbell. We're going to split stance and lean on our chair here. Elbow stays pulled into this 90-degree as we flex and extend through it. Targeting the back of the upper arm here. Ten more seconds. 3, 2, and 1. Got to even out, get that other side. Deep breaths here. All right, let's get in a position here. We're going to start in 3, 2, and 1. Keeping that elbow tucked at 90 degrees. Then elbow, knuckles out to the side as we extend that forearm straight back. Keep it going. We just have 10 seconds. 3, 2, and 1. Okay. Next, balance goalpost fly. Remember, we can do half and half on one leg or march it. I'm going to do half and half. I'm not going to forget this round. All right, here we go. Ready? And begin. So think of that shoulder blade movement here, right? We want to think about healthy shoulders. and core control, all right? Using our glute and core here to balance on one side. We're gonna switch in 3, 2, and 1, other foot. Ten more seconds. 3, 2, and 1. Time on that one. All right, we're going back to our shift with our overhead press, okay? So wider than shoulder width apart. Our toes are forward though, okay? We're gonna shift with the dumbbell in the opposite hand. Here we go. So we shift, see hip back, right? Drive it up, press. The feet, once they're in the right position, they just stay there, okay? So we're working one leg and the opposite arm. Ten more seconds on this side. 2, and 1. Good. Recover. We got to even out. Get that other side. All right. So remember, just like I said, hip back versus knee forward. Do you see that difference? Hip back, right? Okay. Here we go. Hip back. Drive it up. Press. Go at your pace, okay? Ten more seconds. 3, 2, and 1. Okay, nice work. Done with our shifts. Now we have our 2 pulse sumo squats, okay? So heels are right outside the width of the shoulder. Toes are gonna externally rotate out. Okay, our knees are gonna stay in the direction as we lower down, pulse, pulse, drive through the heels. Pulse, pulse, heels. Pulse, pulse, heels. Okay, think of those inner thighs and those glutes. Ten seconds. 5, 2, and 1. Okay, all done with those. Oh boy, bent elbow to no money drill, okay? Remember, this one can be done body weight as well. Okay, I'm gonna do body weight this round. My weight's a little heavy today. Here we go. 3, 2, and 1. We're gonna do a lateral raise, no money drill. Top of the shoulder, back of the shoulder. Top, back. We're getting all those little internal and external rotators with this no money drill paired in. Five seconds. 3, 2, and 1. Okay. Single arm squat and press to knee. Okay. Let's get ready. Heels are right about the width of your shoulders here. We're going to go ahead and sink it down. Single arm squat, press, and then knee. So our upper body twists in the opposite direction as the dumbbell we're holding. Ten more seconds on this side. 2 and 1. Whew. Other side here, recover. Take a breath. All right, let's get ready. Other side, here we go. In 3, 2, and 1. Squat it down. Press, twist. Got a lot of functional movement patterns today, a lot of combo moves like this one here. 3, 2, and 1. Nice work, guys. Guess what? We are on our last exercise for the day. Half sumo squat hold here. We're seated in that sumo stance position, and we are just hitting those jabs as quickly as we can. Here we go. Our little finale. Ooh. Just past halfway. 15. 10. 5, 3, 2, and 1. Oh man, all right, guys. Nice work. Woo. Let's take a moment just to get a drink, and then we are going to do our cool down. We're going to start with our forward fold on the back of the chair, okay? So that is, you can also do this on a wall too, if that feels better, and like hold yourself on the wall, but we're just looking. My little table here is a little low, okay, but we're just looking for a forward fold. Think of this as like a modified down dog, a standing down dog here. So we're stretching through our shoulders and the backside of our body. What we can do here is gently sway our hips from side to side and feel a nice little stretch on either side of our sacrum. Just gently swaying. Good. All right, from here, let's go ahead and gently walk it back up. Okay, and then we'll sit it down, and we're going to go into our glute, into that figure 4. So if some of you might feel good about laying on the floor, I like to do the seated variation just because, but you could also lay on your back and pull your leg in on your back here. But this seated variation is great too, okay? Remember, we're trying to keep that length and hinge forward. You're going to feel it stretch through that glute. And it's not a lot of movement forward to feel that deep stretch, okay? Hold for a few more seconds here. Excellent. Let's go ahead and release that side and even out the other side here. So seated figure 4 or lying figure 4. Lengthening through that spine. It's just a slight forward fold, and you should feel some stretch through that glute. Excellent. All right, from here, we're going to go ahead and we're going to do a thoracic twist and hold it. Okay, so we can be seated here. We're going to start with our palms on one side here as we arc it over, trying to look behind that shoulder without a lot of force. We're not forcing anything, but we're staying in this twisted position, stretching out our trunk in the lateral direction, rotational direction. And when you're ready, let's just arc those arms over, other side, trying to look back behind that shoulder or to the best of your ability, wherever your range is. Good, and then come back to center. And our last stretch today is going to be our tricep stretch. Okay, we did those kickbacks. So we're going to go ahead and just hold onto that arm overhead. Your fingertips are just trying to hit somewhere in between your scap, your shoulder blades there, right? Feel that deep stretch through the arm. If you feel comfortable and you want to add a little more, you can add just a very gentle lateral bend. But again, we're not looking for forcing of the stretch, right? Good, and let's come back to center if you were lateral bending, and then release it. Shake the fingertips out and then go to the other side, okay? So we'll start in just the regular up and down position first, get a sense for it. And then if or when you're ready, okay, you can add a nice little gentle lateral bend, but that again is an option, okay? And good, let's release it back to center. All right, let's do 2 big inhales. We're gonna go ahead and do a deep inhale. Palms up, exhale, palms to heart, one more. And exhale, palms to heart. All right, guys, thank you so much for coming. I hope you enjoyed.